To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go. The Impossible Dream. That's one of my favorite songs to sing. I love songs that talk about tapping into your courage and breaking through to the other side of a challenge. I mean, we all have our own versions, right? Goals and ambitions that sometimes seem so far away. But they're not. It's all inside of us. I, as a young kid growing up in Cincinnati, Ohio, the youngest of 7 kids and the only boy in the household. What she said. I had a lot of what felt like impossible dreams. And they would come to me in the form of questions. Like, how am I going to make it out of the housing projects and make something out of my life? How am I ever going to get over my painful shyness and fear and learn how to speak up for myself? I was a kid who would sit in the back of the classroom, and the teacher would put a problem on the board, and I would know the correct answer, but I'd be too afraid to raise my hand and give it. I didn't want to draw attention to myself. I didn't want to get teased for trying to show off or bullied about it after school, which happened pretty often. It's a confusing thing as a kid to crave attention, but be afraid of it at the same time. I didn't have many friends that I felt I could trust growing up. But I did have 2 friends who were always there for me no matter what. The radio and the television. I feel really grateful that when I was growing up, my family always listened to the radio station that played all kinds of music. Not just soul music, also jazz, rock, country, easy listening. Everything from the Motown sound to the Beatles to Billy Joel, Elton John, Glenn Campbell. To this day, I can be riding in a car with a friend, and if we're listening to the classic rock station or easy listening station, I'll sing along with just about every song that comes on. And my friends are like, how do you know the words to all these songs I've never even heard? I taught myself how to sing, singing along with many of those same songs on the radio, but always to myself. Nobody in my family knew that I loved to sing. I was too embarrassed. And I never thought in a million years that I would ever have the courage to sing in front of anybody, ever, let alone on a stage. My other good friend was the television. And this is where I got to see many of my favorite stars on TV. I'm so blessed that variety shows were still on when I was a kid. Not competition shows like American Idol or The Voice. These shows were for pure entertainment and enjoyment. Shows like The Ed Sullivan Show, The Carol Burnett Show, The Sonny and Cher Hour, Laugh-In, and the groundbreaking Flip Wilson Show. The first successful variety show hosted by an African American. I can't begin to describe how powerful it was for me as a young black kid to see people on TV who looked like me, presenting themselves so beautifully, whether they were singing, dancing, acting, or just being interviewed. They became my heroes, my role models, and something to look up to and strive for. After many failed attempts, I finally got over my fear of singing in public, and I made peace with the fact that I had been bitten by the showbiz bug, and all of my heroes from the radio and television, they helped to set me on a path to achieving my ultimate impossible dream. Performing the role of King Mufasa in The Lion King 4,308 times. Thank you. Thank you. The number one question I'm asked is, how on earth did you perform 4,308 performances of the same character in the same show? And I say, I didn't count. Really, my focus was on doing the best I could for every performance in gratitude for being a working actor, doing what I loved in a show that I loved so much. It was truly, truly a dream come true. But it was during my run as Mufasa, that the big challenges became, how do I maintain a consistent high level of performance without burning out, without letting boredom creep in and sabotage my performance? How do I nurture and protect this dream and all of my dreams come true? Lots of things help me. Gratitude, discipline, passion, faith. But the one thing that really shifted things for me and continues to do so is the act of service and reperceiving and redefining what service means to me. What does service mean to me? I see service as a gift, a free will offering that I share without the stress of expectation. Service puts the focus on sharing our gifts, our talent, our expertise, sharing our time. And service doesn't mean doing anything you don't already want to do. It's about your attitude in doing it. As an actor, I'm in service to a writer, a director, a choreographer. And approaching my work with the mindset of service, it makes me want to show up and do the best I can every time. Because I'm not giving power to the challenging aspects of work, the things I can't do anything about, the non-negotiables, the things that may not even be any of my business, may still affect me but are none of my business. Service also helps me to stay grounded in the reason that I wanted to be a performer in the first place. And it's to share the blessings I've been given and to offer them as a gift. If I had not been able to acknowledge and accept service, there's no way that I could have performed Mufasa all those times. I had to acknowledge that I was there to serve the role, to serve the show, to serve the audience, to serve my talent, to serve myself. Service, like discipline, is a gift that you give yourself. And we all know there is no greater feeling than knowing that you have done your very best and made yourself proud of yourself for doing so. There's no greater validation. It's self-validation. You're your own best role model. You are your own hero. Service has bled into every aspect of my life, and I am so grateful. It helps me to keep vital space, sacred space, for compassion, for joy, for comfort, as I pursue new dreams. A couple of summers ago, I hit the 4,000 mark as Mufasa, and I started writing and journaling, mainly out of frustration, because people kept telling me how lucky I was. Oh, Alton, you're so lucky. You're so lucky. And I was like, luck didn't do 4,000 performances. I mean, there's no skill involved in luck, you know? So I started writing. This is what it really took to stay focused, you know, learning to delay gratification, sacrificing weekends and personal time and personal relationships, and checking in to make sure that I'm reigniting my passion over and over and over again to protect this work. So I took the next vulnerable step and started sharing it with colleagues and friends, some in the business, some not. And just to help, to see if they could relate to it, see if I could help them with my journey. And the next thing you know, I have a literary agent. Next thing you know, I have a book deal. And now I have a book coming out in a few months. And nobody is more surprised than I am. I mean, I never thought I could write a book. I never thought I could be patient enough to sit down and hunt and peck an entire manuscript. Service is what brought me here. Service. And if I hadn't reperceived and redefined what service means to me, there's no way that I could have conquered probably my all-time greatest fear. Standing on stage, speaking to a crowd of people like I'm doing at this very moment. Service. I hope you can relate to what I've shared. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your attention. And I thank you for allowing me to do my service. Thank you. much.